Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Christy Iwuchukwu's Brilliance TV show. This is the show every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and this is where we spotlight the defining moments and accomplishments of today's top business leaders, entrepreneurs, and unique individuals. And this is where you come in. Why? Because this show cannot exist without you. I appreciate you being a part of this community. This show cannot exist without you. And so I would love for you to join me every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I always do some promos and I put out the link for you to join us here again every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So who am I? My name is Christy Iwuchukwu, aka Lady Christy, CEO and founder of Chosen Path Global, helping you rock your brilliance. It's about speak up. I can't get it out. I'm tired for the evening. It's about speak up and speak out and gain confidence. You know, I am super excited. Super excited. I want you, as a matter of fact, I want you to go ahead and invite somebody else while you are waiting for the introduction. Because today, you guys don't know, but I may just have to bring my fire extinguisher out because we have our guest speaker today, Elizabeth Bachman. So who is Elizabeth Bachman? She is the star maker for the speakers. Did you guys hear it? Star maker for the speaker. That sentence alone says it all, what she does. She's a speaker. She is a trainer. And she's also has been for years an opera director. And today, I want you guys to go ahead and bring your iPad, your pencil, your paper, whatever you have to bring her, because she's about to unload lots of golden nuggets. Please help me welcome Elizabeth Bachman. Elizabeth?
Thank you. Thank you, Christy. I'm delighted to be here. And you said that you wanted to ask me about how people can really step forward and claim their voices, which is a big part of what I do. So
yes.
Yeah.
So let me lead you into this because you are so influential in what you do. You are so influential all over for what you do, helping individuals shine on the stage. So, but well, let me ask you, before you got here, there's always a journey for you to get here. Oftentimes we hear about people when they're on the mountaintop, but we don't always get to hear when they're in the valley. And I say it is in the valley that we learn the greatest lesson. So help us, for those who don't know who you are, help us understand what was that defining moment for you to get you from where you were to where you are now, helping individuals shine on the stage and rock your brilliance.
Well, it's all about communication and the art of great communication. And I use the word art on purpose. And I'll tell you the truth, I've been dedicated to the art of great communication since I was first walked on stage at the age of 5. And my mom said I was the best damn bunny rabbit that ever graced the stage of the hillside school. And I was hooked. I was totally hooked. So from acting to directing opera singers, and now working pretty much full-time with business professionals, thought leaders, and C-suite executives, entrepreneurs, really anybody who wants to step out and claim their place on stage and do something that gets results. And the reason I like to help people with it is because I've actually made all the mistakes myself. So really what I hope to do is help people not make those same mistakes. You'll make your own, that's okay. But at least if I can help you skip some of the big ones. The way I learned how to get here was that I had always wanted to run a company of my own. This was in the days when I was doing exclusively opera, and I got an offer to bring young opera singers to the Austrian Alps, which is the was so cool. I was going to do a summer opera training program in the Alps. It's Sound of Music country. I did The Hills Are Alive. We were going to spend the summer making music. And the only teeny weeny little problem was that I had to raise $100,000 to launch the program. And to do that, I had to give speeches. And that was where I learned the difference between speaking to entertain and speaking to get a result. And I'll tell you, it's one of the things that breaks my heart. And now that I do this full time, I see it all over the place. Is there's so many speakers out there who aren't getting the results they need. Often it means they're not getting sales. So when they get up there and they speak and people say, oh, that's nice, and they're polite, but if no money comes from it, then you've busted your butt, frankly, on stage, given your all, and you don't get the money, the monetary return. What I learned was back then when I was speaking about opera, to tell you the truth, I was pretty terrified when I first started out, and I was also kind of terrible. My first few speeches, it was nothing. I don't know if you've ever been there where you've given your speech and then you get to the part where you ask for the money and their faces close up and they lean back and they turn polite, but and then they walk out the door with the credit cards still in their pockets. Well, that was where I was on, and I was desperate. I had young people who were counting on me to help them deliver, to realize their dreams. I had staff that had contracts, they were expecting to be paid. And most of all, I had people who I told the world I was going to be doing this. So my reputation was at stake. I don't know, have you ever been there where the difference between success is, it's the difference between massive success and total humiliation? Yes. I don't know if there's anybody on this call who's recognizes that. And what saved me was finding a mentor. I had no idea there was such thing as professional speaker training until this woman, a speaker trainer who liked opera, came to one of my events, called me up the next day and she said, there's some things you could do that could get you better results. And the most important part was she told me I wasn't stupid, I wasn't wrong, I just didn't know what I didn't know. That there was this whole body of work that is around getting people to do what you want them to do. Often it means opening their wallets. And I knew I had to hire her. I didn't know how I was going to afford it. I certainly didn't have the money at that point. But I knew that my dedication to the people who needed my help had to be greater than my fear. And so I walked through the fear. I was pretty scared. I walked through the fear. I found the money. I hired her, and it was the best investment I could ever make. I'll never forget the first time I approached somebody, and I was hoping to get a $100 donation. And I gave her my pitch using the techniques that my trainer had given me, and she wrote me a check for $3,000.
Wow.
Full scholarship. And I hadn't even produced the program yet. We had no results yet. Just because of what I said, she believed in me and she gave a full scholarship. And that's when I knew this was what I was supposed to do.
Wow.
So that's what I learned. Yeah.
Wow. From one, oh my goodness, that's a big jump. So you really touch on a good, this is where we sometimes miss the boat. And that is that if you are going after what's something you have never done before, it will be more effective if you can hire somebody who's been there to help you. But oftentimes, some of us look at it as it's either a waste of time that is supposed to take you longer or a waste of money. But if you don't perfect your art, then you're lost in the process. So I totally agree with the mentoring, because I can't even tell you, I don't think I would have been able to do much if I don't have a mentor in my life. And I just thank those mentors so much, because they can see in you what you can't see in yourself, and they can help you be able to hash things out. So definitely. And
yeah, and you do have to invest.
yes.
You learn the trade, learn the skills, learn the connections, and so forth. I mean, after all, if you're determined to be a performer in be an athlete in the Olympics, for instance, say you're going to be a skier, you're going to be taking skiing lessons, and you're going to be buying tickets, lift tickets, and you're going to be hiring a coach. You don't just walk in and say, hi, I've strapped on skis a couple times in my life, so now I'm going to compete in the Olympics. No, you have to put in the time, the effort, and the money to do it. The thing that's great about it is one of the things I help people with the most is a program called Mastering a Signature Speech that sells. Because mastering a signature speech is fine, but a signature speech that sells is a whole new thing. And once you've got it, you have it forever. Yes, you have to take the lessons. You have to learn how to do it. But then, I always make sure that there are always ahas and lessons at every single conversation. And by the end of it, you know how to get booked, you know what it is you want to say, and you know how to say it in a way that's going to get people to lean in and say, yes, here, take my credit card.
So Elizabeth, let me ask you, you have been for years an opera director. How does that relate to public speaking?
Well, it turns out that the skills you need to sell a song are pretty much the same skills you need to sell a product or a service or an idea. The difference is really just vocabulary. It's just, and most of the time I only have to do it in English. Yeah, I don't have to do it in 5 languages, which is what I used to do. But it's all a performance. It really is a performance. And if you're an opera singer, you're going to do an audition. You have to make it yours. You have to show people what it is about you and the connection that's important. And every time you sing, the result you want is you want to get hired. You want them to cast you in that role. And so it still is presenting for results.
It's all about selling yourself, being able to sell yourself.
And the idea. It's convincing people to move out of their comfortable rut and really move ahead and take the leap, take the chance.
So do I have to be a public speaker to be able to claim my voice?
No.
To claim my power?
No, you don't. You really just need to show up, to not hide. You need to show up, and you need to be able to step forward and have your voice be heard. You want to make sure that you go to places where people are talking about things you're passionate about. You have to decide what you're passionate about. And then as you do that, go to places where there are people who are making a difference doing that, and see what sort of joint ventures you can find.
So how can you help us find our unique voice? These days, we have some of the speakers that we all admire. And sometimes the danger to it is that sometimes some people will find themselves trying to speak like that person, but that's not who you are.
That's right.
Sometimes that's not how that person naturally speak, but they try to mimic and sound like somebody else. And that's so how can you help us find our unique voice?
Well, one of the things I find if people are not trusting what they have to say, often that translates into stage fright. And that translates into, I'm going to use someone else's material because it's safer. And so I think that part is connected to stage fright. And for me, it's about, well, the way to get out of it is if you're still trying to mimic somebody else, or if you're worried about what are they going to think, you want to make it about them. One of the things that happens is that a lot of people have, it's when the voices in your head say, oh, they're going to think I'm stupid. They're going to think I don't know what I'm doing. They're going to think, which is really just the voices in your head telling you what the other people might be thinking. But the truth is, you cannot know what they're thinking. So the truth is, you can't know what they're thinking, and what you can know is that they want you to be fabulous. They want you to be amazing. They want you to be authentic, which means you got to figure out what's your voice. That can take a while, but it is so much worthwhile doing. So finding people, talking to people about the things that you're passionate about, the key is to make it about them. That gets you out of your head. So I don't know about you, but the voices in my head are always saying, you know, you're going to be stupid and whatever. And then they all chatter back here. I don't know about you. I don't have a voice. I've got a whole choir. So when the choir is singing loud, it's hard. It's hard to stay focused on what you're trying to say. The way to get away from that is to focus on your listeners. What are you trying to say? What do they need to hear? And make it about them. And that automatically gets you out of your head.
Absolutely. So, you know, one of the things that new speakers are challenged with is not only the topic, but it's really the stage fright that you talk about. What tips can you help us in trying to ease the feeling of the stage fright?
Well, one of my favorite exercises is, and for those of you who are listening, I invite you to close your eyes, not if you're driving, but close your eyes and imagine a dinner party with your favorite people there. And then open your arms and say, welcome to my party. So if you think of your listeners as your guests at a dinner party, then you're inviting them on. That makes it your space. And you could say, this is my space. You could say to yourself, this is my space. This is my party. And they're all my guests because I'm bringing something of value. And indeed, if you are a good speaker and if you are someone who's offering something that they're going to really want to hear, then you are bringing something valuable. The next piece of this is if you can imagine that the offer you're making for which you want them to take action, say you want them to buy something. If you can imagine walking into that dinner party and say, welcome to my party. Do I have something for you? It's as if this offer, for instance, my 6-month program of mastering a signature speech that sells, it's like that's a dessert I've baked. It's some fabulous treat that I've given them. So if you imagine the look in their eyes when you come out of the kitchen and here you have this fabulous dessert and everybody's really excited by it, focus on them, get out of your own head. And the more you can do that, the better.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that, especially new, whether it's a new entrepreneur trying to sell, trying to market, it's really this issue of getting nervous. It's almost like you're about to choke whenever you're about to tell someone of what you offer. And the price comes in. It's like, what do I do now? So do you have any tips on overcoming that? What are your tips? What are your take on that?
I truly believe that there are people out there who are only going to get that message from you. So you are looking for the people in the audience who are attuned to your experience, who can relate to your story. And one of the things, if you think about welcome to my party and inviting them into your party, some of it is also trusting that you have a message. Another way I like to think about it is, I often go out and I talk about the 3 big presenting mistakes that will cost you sales. And number 2 is talking too much about the why of the offer and not enough, too much about the how, sorry, and not enough about the why. So you want to make sure that you're always talking about the benefits and then focusing on what is the benefit that they're going to get from me. How can I make this my story? How can I make this feel like me?
Wow. You know, audience, everybody, we are listening to Elizabeth Bachman today, talking about stepping into your power and claim your voice. Claim your voice. It's about speak up. It's about being able to offer the audience the best that they want to offer. Really, it's about and she echoed that. It's about being able to give the audience what they want. It's not so much about you, because when you make it about the audience will listen.
Absolutely.
So we are going back to Elizabeth, continuing the conversation, this epic conversation. So do you have any tips on how to learn how to step into our power?
Well, if you're how to learn, practice, basically. It all comes down to practice. You know, nobody plays Hamlet the first time they pick up the script. You've got to practice it. I always say that there are 3 things you need to make speaking a useful part of your marketing strategy. And those are strategy, script, and style. Those 3 things. So you have to have a strategy to make sure you know who you're speaking to and who needs what you have to do. You have to have the words figured out so that you know what you're going to say and what you're not going to say. And then your delivery style is 93% of what people are going to perceive about you. So you really want to make sure that you have things set up that you've got your delivery style, that you've got things set up to follow up when people contact you, and ways of dealing with that.
All right. So, audience, I am still talking to Elizabeth Bachman, and I know the audience have a lot of questions. So at this point, I'm going to go back to you to ask you how our audience can contact you to work with you.
Well, I have a gift for everybody today. It's called the Star Maker Secrets for Speakers. It's a series, it's a free gift. It's a series of emails. It's my gift from 30 years of training presenters with tips and ideas and articles and videos and so forth. And if you go to www.starmakerforspeakers, all spelled out, starmakerforspeakers.com/free gift. So you say starmakerforspeakers.com free gift. And that will get you the Star Maker secrets for speakers. While you're doing that, once you sign up, your first email will give you a chance to sign up for my award-winning digital program for getting booked. And you can get that at a 4/5 discount. It's if you do it as part of Star Maker Secrets for Speakers, you get this huge discount that instead of the 300 something, it's only $47. So it's a great deal.
That is definitely a good deal. That's definitely a good deal. So everyone, before we go, before I take your question, I just want to let everybody know that we do this show every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'd love for you to be a part of, continue to be a part of this community and invite your friends and invite others to partake in the blessing of all the experts that I bring to you every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I have something in the works. I don't know whether I should let it out now or not, but maybe I can let it out just a little bit. Next month, I will be launching my Women Coaching Association. And it is going to be an awesome platform for coaches to market themselves and connect and gain clients as well. So I'll be talking more of that next week. But again, I will be launching my Women's Coaching Association, and I would love for each and every one of you to be a part of that association as well. So at this time, I just want to take the time, Elizabeth, and thank you for your time. I appreciate your time and all the nuggets you dropped, and hopefully our audience can take advantage of it by contacting you for more information to help them with their signature speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Christy, it was an honor to be on this show.